Last week, one of our hot comments dealt with a horrific incident of child abuse in Shanxi province. Local police arrested a young woman who confessed to killing her 8-year-old stepson and chopping his body into pieces just because he stole some chicken feet. The 26-year-old stepmother gave police details of beating the little boy, threatening to throw him off a roof, hitting him on the head with an axe handle and finally attacking with the blade, killing him. The widely reported story has caused outrage in China and much discussion, not just about this case, but about physical violence and abuse of children within the family home in general. In another incident some weeks ago, a 13-year-old girl from the seaside town of Qingdao jumped to her death from the 7th floor of a building. She left a note saying she could no longer bear the abuse she suffered at home. The girl said this included frequent verbal abuse, humiliation and physical assaults. So how deep does the problem go in Chinese society and how common are such cases? What could cause a parent to treat their child in this way? And how can the protection of vulnerable children in danger be improved? Well, to find out what net users have to say about it, let's cross over now to the newsroom where our researcher Esther Dung is standing by. Okay, Esther, let's first hear what sort of reactions you've seen to these particular cases from net users online.
Well, of course, most net users express their anger over the violence and think it's just incredible. Posts like this on Sohu.com are everywhere. Parents like this are no more than devils. How could they do such a thing to such a little child? They deserve to go to hell. And the parents themselves, like 才不是神经病 from Weibo.com, were at a loss to explain such behavior. After having my own child, I just feel sad when I see all this news of abuse. And I really can't understand how they could do such cruel things to the innocent children. Well, this poster, 山外有山, feels perhaps something could be learned from this little boy's case. Maybe it's too late to say anything now, since the young child can't be reborn. But I really think all we parents should begin to look deep into ourselves and do whatever we can to ensure such a tragedy never happens again. A poster called 春天的图画 from 天涯岛 CN has this to say. In my view, many parents in China now, although they may be physically capable of becoming parents, are not qualified from the psychological aspect. And finally, this poster, 火柴天堂, has this to offer. I really think our government should make sure these parents who use violence towards their children are severely punished. Since if a nation can't protect its children, then what future can we expect?
Now, to be honest, physical punishment of children within some families certainly is not all that rare in China and to a certain extent somehow even acceptable, or at least seems seen as something that outsiders have no business interfering in. Is this related to traditional views on bringing up children?
Well, regarding this aspect of it, according to a recent report released by the Beijing Youth Legal Aid and Research Center, there are certain demographics where physical violence is more likely. It says that more than half of domestic violence cases against the children took place in families where at least one parent were previously been divorced, so there were stepchildren, or amongst the families of migrants living in difficult conditions. The report was researched over 6 years, and regarding the reasons for such violence, it said that some of these parents simply consider their children as private property. This poster from Sina.com responded with something similar to what you mentioned just now. I think the traditional ideas do indeed influence the parents. In fact, it's not only parents. Police also may well treat children as the property of the parents. So no matter what the parents do to their own children, it's their own business and has nothing to do with outsiders. So sometimes, even if neighbors are aware of the abuses, they think it's better not to interfere. Besides this, this poster, Ma Guilu, complains about the lack of relevant or effective laws as another problem in these cases. Although it seems we have got several laws related to abuse, do they really work? I don't think so. In my view, the current laws are just too abstract and don't set a clear legal responsibility. And to be honest, according to the current laws, if the children or the relatives don't report their parents, then the parents won't get any punishment. While a poster from iNewsweek.com feels the lack of civil or social organizations is also a factor. In Hong Kong, there's a special organization aimed at protecting these children, and they provide a lot of help, including hotline and group counseling. It's a great shame that on the mainland, we still don't have a special organization like this. And it seems that the official administration responsible for such issues just don't have the time or staff to deal with it.
Right, so that gives us a picture of the situation as it is, or as it's seen by net user at least. How can it be improved then? Are there any suggestions?
Yes, of course. Many net users single out making the law much clearer. This poster seems to feel it's just a matter of consequences. I really think the most urgent problem is to set up a law aimed at stopping domestic violence as soon as possible. Only after some parents who use violence against the children are punished will others begin to learn and be warned. But besides harsher punishment for the perpetrators and more enforcement of laws, there are other suggestions. For example, this poster from Sina.com looks at the situation in the US and wonders if some lessons could be learned from it. In the US, the government has people on the lookout for signs of abuse, such as doctors, teachers, and some social and legal advisors. The regulations insist that if these people find any possible cases of violence in the family, they must report it, or they will face fines or even jail sentences. I really think this could be helpful in child protection. And finally, this poster, 朱桂发 from i2.com, feels the most important step is education, spreading information and knowledge about this issue. I really think we should improve understanding what domestic violence is and why it is wrong. Currently, many parents don't even know what they are doing is illegal and even think violence against their children is justified since it's for the good of the children. And I think the most important thing is to educate such parents and change their ideas first.
Well, it sounds like a sensible first step at least. Thanks for that, Esther.